So AB showed up to practice today. Let's say it goes sideways again in the next week. Schrags, what would be the options for the Raiders? What would you do if you got a guy and it was like a mutiny without him playing?
All right, Colin, I got to do the yeah, but thing. So he showed up at the facility, but all the tweets from all the insiders said that he was at practice. The Raiders didn't really have a practice today, so he didn't play in a helmet. He was there in the building, but he still hasn't practiced, so he still hasn't worn the helmet. So I just want to clarify that. Yes, he's in the building, but this is still going to be an ongoing saga, and I know you've got Drew Rosenhaus, his agent, coming on later in the show, but I just want to clarify. There was no contact today with Antonio Brown. He didn't put a helmet on. He's still fighting this fight from what we gather, and to that point, they do have some options. I mean, if this really goes haywire, and at this point, Gruden's been in Antonio Brown's corner. He's been the good cop. This is a fight for Antonio, and we got his back. Well, Mayock came out Sunday night and played bad cop and was like, either all in or you're all out. And what does all out even mean? Well, you could cut Antonio Brown, which would mean, 2 years of $30 million, which they're not looking to do. You could trade him, which they got him on 80 cents on the dollar. Do you really want to trade him for 60 cents on the dollar? You also have to find a trade partner. The third is this nuclear option, as if he hadn't been in the facility today, and if he goes AWOL again, called something that they refer to as the 5-day letter. And I say it's nuclear option because it's never been used before since the new CBA came out in 2011. It's a letter that goes out to the player, and if he doesn't show up, it means he doesn't get paid, he cannot play for the rest of the season, and it completely severs all ties with the player in the NFL. No one's ever done it. It is the most drastic of measures. There was whispers that might have been used if Antonio Brown didn't show up, but he did show up in the facility today. But this is not obviously what any side wants, Brown's side or the Raiders side. And here we are, mid-August, and that's where we're at.
Oh, Lord. All right, let's go. You've been in the booth for the Jets. Now, Le'Veon Bell, not that he is AB, but they're both former Steelers, and Le'Veon Bell decided, I'm not going to play, gave up $14 million. But I don't feel the same way about Le'Veon Bell and an absence last year as I do about AB. I do feel like Le'Veon Bell's a running back. Le'Veon Bell's in shape. I don't see him personally as what you would call high maintenance. I do think he's his own man. So you're doing the Jets games. He's not playing. Is that okay? Is it a warning sign? How does that land for the team right now, Schrags?
Yeah, I've spoken to Adam Gase at length about this. Also spoke with Le'Veon Bell last week, and he's getting full contact in practice. Don't get it twisted. And whereas the Rams and Bears have already decided we're not playing our starters, we're not going to get them in danger, the Jets are learning it the hard way. They lost a linebacker, Avery Williamson, late in the second quarter in a worthless Thursday night game against you don't want to ever lose a player to injury, and I don't want to say worthless, but Avery Williamson, even Adam Gase admitted, should not have been on the field in that situation. He's done for the year. The Jets are not risking anything. They feel like they've seen enough from Le'Veon Bell. And Le'Veon has said it himself to us in the production booth, saying, I feel as good as I've ever felt before. Yes, I need to get hit and all that stuff, but that is what's going on in practice. I'm playing full contact. The Jets are fully confident that even though we haven't seen Le'Veon Bell on a football field since January 2018, he will be ready September 2019 to go full bore. And Colin, if anything, I've done these Jets games. Ty Montgomery is not a name everyone's like drafting in their fantasy league. He's got the same body type as Le'Veon Bell, and he's going to be used the same way. Gase is one of these offensive wizards where, hey, if I've got two guys who could play receiver and running back, I want to see that. And no one even knows what they're going to do with those two in the field at the same time. So the Jets are very confident, not only in Le'Veon Bell, but also Ty Montgomery, who's the backup, who might not really be a backup. He might end up playing at the same time in kind of a pony package. They're very excited what they got with their running backs for him.
Since you're doing the Jets preseason stuff, I would be remiss if I didn't at least ask you about Sam Darnold. I said I felt Gase was sort of the East Coast Kyle Shanahan. Intense, doesn't have a lot of patience for the media, but very multiple, very clever, very obsessed, will give multiple looks. It looks like in preseason drives, Sam and Gase are clicking. Does it feel like it to you?
It's as good as any combo you're going to see in a preseason game. And, Goff and McVay, they clicked that first year. Trubisky and Nagy, they clicked last year. This could have that potential. And the Jets brass, quietly, they would never do it outwardly, are ecstatic because Sam is making passes in practice that Gase did not expect him to be able to make. I'm talking about 40 yards across the body on the run, and he's getting these guys the ball where there are windows that are very tight, and Darnold is doing it. But more importantly, Colin, and you've spoken to this on your show, he showed up last year, 21-year-old, wide-eyed, all right, New York City. This year, he's the man. And when I say the man, I'm talking like a leader. Everyone gave Baker Mayfield all those kudos. He was 23 years old last year. He'd won a Heisman. Darnold was still a kid. This offseason, he has matured so much, and there's no longer Josh McCown in that quarterback's room where it's, hey, here's the 38-year-old veteran we're going to take our cues from. Darnold's the guy, and they are following his lead. Everyone is very excited, and don't be shocked if he makes a huge leap in year 2.
Okay, finally, Kyler Murray. Listen, Cliff Kingsbury was a college coach. Not just a college coach, he was a young college coach. Then you bring him into the NFL. He hires Vance Joseph. Vance Joseph doesn't have a history of top 10 defenses. Then you draft a quarterback, Kyler Murray, who's unique. You're installing a new offense. I mean, I know you love it, but it has not looked great so far. Any sense from you? Little trouble, little heat in Arizona?
None. And I loved your tweet. You tweeted me saying, are you sure about him being a generational player? Colin, it's a second preseason game. We've been through this. They haven't showed anything. I assure you, any play we've seen from the Cardinals this preseason will not be in the regular season playbook. None of that stuff. So am I concerned? No, I'm not concerned. We've done rehearsals of television shows where before we go on air, and yes, you want to bring your A game, but you might not have the same exact oomph or energy. You're just kind of going through the motions. The Cardinals are very confident in what they have, and I am very confident in what they have. I'm going to double down on Kyler Murray. And yes, the second preseason game, if you want to jump off the bandwagon, go right ahead. I'll see you September 7th when the season starts.
Garoppolo goes tonight. It's interesting. They paid him $27.5 million. It was kind of a big figure at the time. It's funny. Today, Schrags, that feels like an absolute bargain. What should we expect? What do you hear from the Niners on their camp? Some young receivers they like. They've had an injury bug. How do you see it tonight?
And that's the point, Colin. They haven't had any healthy players. Kittle broke a record last year for tight end receptions with Nick Mullins playing quarterback. So, look, ask around the league, whether he's done it or not on the head coach level, Kyle Shanahan has respected an offensive play caller in the entire NFL, and they bring this guy Pettis for his second year from Washington. They love Jalen Hurd. They love Deebo Samuel. If Garoppolo's healthy, let's see, because Jerick McKinnon is back. We've got, obviously Tevin Coleman, who they signed. There's a lot of excitement in San Francisco, but like we always say, let's see it before we start believing it. And tonight, we'll see what kind of version we get of Jimmy Garoppolo. But as long as Kyle Shanahan's calling the plays, I have confidence that this team can do it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I think it's the easiest double their win total team in the NFL this year. Senior reporter, Fox NFL. Great seeing you, Schrags.
You're the best, Colin. Can't wait to see you in a couple weeks.
All right, good. Peter Schrager. He looks tanned and ready to go. He's got that Northeast. He's played a couple of rounds of golf now. He's got that nice tan going on. Coming up next, top of the hour, Colin Right, Colin Wrong. I want to talk about Antonio Brown and how he has largely become T.O. That's not all bad, but if you really take a deep breath and look at it, it's shocking how similar they have become at this point in their career. That's coming up. Those USB power charging stations in the airport may come with a cost you can't see. I know, right? I always thought those things were great. USB ports can pass data. Cyber criminals can modify USB connections to install malware on your phone or download data without your knowledge. On top of this, new research reveals a growing number of nation-state hackers are now training their sites on travelers. Watch out. We're vulnerable all the time, especially in the hectic atmosphere of airports. So many ways cyber criminals can take what's yours. That's where LifeLock, identity theft protection, comes in. They've added the power of Norton Security. There's a problem, they have domestic agents who immediately work on it. Go to lifelock.com, put in the code HERD, 10% off your first year, or call their number 1-800-LifeLock, 1-800-LifeLock. Same code, same 10% off. LifeLock has added the power of Norton Security.